You have done the work. You've got the perfect vision board. You've said all of the affirmations. But when that moment of truth arrives, when it's time to make that call or ask for that raise or step onto that stage, your body slams on the brakes. Your heart races, your throat, it tightens, and suddenly the high performer version of you vanishes, replaced by a version of you that just wants to run away and hide. Most people call this lack of confidence. I call it biological lockdown. Today I'm going to show you why trying harder is actually keeping you stuck in the mud, and how to stop fighting your biology so that you can start fueling your breakthrough, starting your comeback. Team, today, it isn't just mindset, it's physiology. So let's get into it. Teamo, welcome to Built Resilient. I am Bart Walsh and I talk for a living. I am a keynote speaker, I'm a podcast host, apparently, that's why we're here. And my job is to stand in front of thousands of people and deliver a message that shifts their lives. Just this last week, I was at the Star Hotel on the Gold Coast with the Templestone Financial Services team, and man, every time I go into a group of people, this is my second time presenting for them, every time I go into a group or an organization that seems cold on the outside or abrasive, stuff like finance industries, stuff like executives, as soon as I get past that demeanor, I realize that there are a lot of people out there, Templestone included, that really care. And they're really here to make this world a better place, not just for their team and for their financial advisors, but for all of their clients. Every time I do my presentation, I feel like I get another faith in humanity. So if you're from the Templestone team, hey, thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for having me at your conference once again. I cannot wait to get back there and hopefully influence and connect with you once again. But today we are here for another reason, because yes, I am a speaker and I get on stage and I look confident and I deliver my message the best way that I can in the most authentic and connected way that I can. But what most people don't see is the war happening inside my chest 5 minutes before the lights go up. And team, this is Built Resilient. We are going to talk a bit more about that, but on this show we don't do empty motivation. We don't do the typical fluffy motivational stuff. We do strategy. We talk about the grit, the science, and the soul of what it actually takes to get unstuck in your life. And so if you're feeling like there's a ceiling on your potential or you can't break through that ceiling, well, today we're going to shatter it by looking at the one thing actually in your control: your nervous system. And so I want to be selfish for a second and tell you a bit of a story. We're going to go back to me on stage. I want to take you backstage with me. The air conditioning is humming. There are 3,000 people behind the curtain that I am staring at. And I can hear the muffled bass of the intro music, the quiet chatter of the people in the audience and team. More often than not, I am terrified. My palms are dripping with sweat. My heart feels like it's trying to exit my rib cage. My brain is screaming one single thing: run away, get out of there, tell them that you're sick, you don't belong here. For years I hated myself for this. I thought, Bart, you are a professional. Why are you still a wreck? Why are you so nervous? But here is the breakthrough that I had not too long ago. Your nervous system isn't trying to sabotage your success. It's actually trying to ensure your survival. It's a good thing. Your body is working. It's not broken in these moments of panic. To your primitive brain, standing on stage in front of 3,000 strangers is the same as being surrounded by 3,000 predators. Your sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight nervous system, which you may or may not know, also known as the fight or flight beast, sees that stage as a death trap. And thus, it floods your system with cortisol, with adrenaline, because it wants you to be fast enough to run away from the threat that it thinks it's in front of you. Look, it's not an error. Your body isn't broken. It's not an error in the way your brain is programmed or your conditioning from when you were a kid. It's a feature of your humanity. It's an output of thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution. But here is the shift that I've had and that I want to share with you. I've learned that the pressure I feel in that green room behind the stage, that pressure is a privilege. And I want you to think about that. There are millions of people who would do anything to have a message worth sharing. There are millions of people who would love to be in the position that I am in. And so the nerves that I feel, the nerves that you feel, is the energy required for the impact you are made for. And we're going to go into it a bit now, but this isn't just when you're presenting in front of a team or presenting on a stage. It's those moments in your life where you have that sudden instance of nervousness or anxiety or even extreme excitement. You know that feeling, the one you feel in your gut that radiates throughout your entire body. This is your nervous system. It's your nervous system trying to protect you, and that's why we need to shift the mindset. When I feel that sympathetic beast waking up, I don't try and kill it anymore. I don't try and quell it. I don't tell it to go away. I say, thank you for the energy. And now let's get to work. Let's do it. So how do we actually do it? How do we do that? When you are stuck in that survival mode, that feeling of panic, that feeling of energy, that feeling where your world narrows down to a pinpoint, whether it's on the stage or just paralyzing fear of what's next in your life, that existential dread that I think all of us feel a bit with AI coming in, you can't think your way out of it. You can't do that. You have to act your way out of it. Use your actions. And here are 3 tactical circuit breakers that I use to move from sympathetic, that stress mode, to parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, or I also like to call it your power mode. The first is the exhale dominance. And if you want to go deep dive into the vagus nerve, the vagus reset, please do. We won't do that today, but the vagus nerve and how to control it is essentially what we're trying to do here. When you're scared, you take short, sharp inhales. That's a part of generating energy and oxygen to your muscles. This tells the brain that the lion is winning. To flip that switch, you have to make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. It has to have dominance. Try it with me right now. This might not be the best podcast listening, but let's try it together. We go in for 4 and then out for 8. In for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you found that hard, that's okay. Remember, habit change is hard. If we're learning a new skill, it's going to be difficult. Lean in. I can guarantee you do that 3 or 4 times and you'll start to feel a difference. You do it 10 times, you'll feel even more of a difference. You do it every day, you'll start to see longer lasting peace. By forcing that long exhale, you are manually hacking that vagus nerve. The second one is about state before story. Tony Robbins actually taught us this. Tony Robbins taught us that state creates our story. And so if you're in a stressed out state, your story about what your life will be is, I'm a failure. I'm always scared. I'm a coward. Don't try and change the story yet. I simply want you to change the state that you are in. And to do this, I do something really cheesy and really dumb, something that I learned in acting school and something that you probably heard from 1992 motivational speaker speeches. I do power moves backstage. Again, if you want some inspiration, do a little research on power moves. It's a bit cheesy, but I think it works. So backstage, before my presentations, I jump around, I shake my arms, I create a physical explosion of energy. You can't be paralyzed and in motion at the same time, but you can exhaust yourself. So if you know you have a presentation or something where you need to be cognitively aware and awake, too much movement will actually take away from that. And you don't want to go out of breath when you go up on that stage or go and do that thing or go and play that sport or go and train in the gym. Too much energy is actually taking away from your performance. And the third circuit breaker that I'll talk about today, I like to think about it as a gratitude pivot. In the heat of biological lockdown, when I'm in that fight or flight state, I force my brain to list 3 things that I am grateful for. About this specific moment, about where I am. I am grateful for the stage. I'm grateful for my platform. I am grateful for that I get to care enough about my nervous system to change it. Gratitude and fear cannot inhabit the same space at the same time. It's a biological impossibility. And even though it's hard for some of you perhaps to find the grateful moments or the grateful things in your life, again, it's a skill. Something that we need to practice. And at the end of the day, team, we should be very grateful that we're even breathing, that we even have people in our life that care about us. We should be grateful that there is a podcast out there that's teaching us how to be better people and not just distracting us or numbing us from all the bad things in this world. The gratitude pivot, give it a go. So team, the next time that you feel that stuck sensation, when you start to feel the heart rate raise and the cortisol pulse throughout your body, that paralyzing weight in your chest, I want you to stop calling it a weakness. I don't want you to run away from it. And start calling it preparation. Your body is giving you the fuel, the energy. You just have to learn how to steer the car. So stop fighting the beast. I want you to invite it in. Give it a job to do. Give it purpose. And use that energy to build the life that you were meant for. Team, my name is Bart Walsh and this is the Built Resilient podcast. And look, if I'm honest with you, over the last few weeks, I've had some realizations, some signs from the universe that I think I'm on the right path with what I'm doing here. I'm going to explain a bit more about my own journey, where I'm at in life in the next episode. But I know this podcast only plays a small little role in that journey, but it means a lot to me because it gives me a chance to speak out loud what's in my head. Now, I'm not saying that you should start a podcast too. Well, if you want to, go for it. It turns out to be quite a lot of work. But I'm finding it very therapeutic to talk through what I'm feeling and talk through these concepts with you. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for following along, but thank you for allowing me to process the thoughts that are in my head at the same time. And look, if this podcast helped you in any way, I would love for you to send it to someone. They're short. They're going to get a bit shorter, actually, based upon the feedback that I'm getting, about 10 to 15 minutes. They're easy to listen to, but they'll give you a little bit of oomph in your day. So team, I want you to go out there and I want you to build something today. I want you to actively seek that nervous feeling that we were talking about. I want you to actively seek the biological lockdown so you can learn to get through it and learn to take your life in any aspect, in any direction that you want. Team, thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Remember to choose resilience. Bye.